Hello everyone, the topic is about plant tissues, about ground tissue, Ground tissue is the tissue that is in bulk amount in plant body, and it contains different types of cells. Depending upon the function and location, it has different types of cells. That is, it is divided into three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and third one is the sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma. And this parenchyma, generally parenchyma cells are thin walled and small in size and thin walled. Parenchyma cells are soft. And thin walled. And different types of cells are present in parenchyma depending upon its function. Whereas collenchyma are long and thick walled. They give mechanical support to the plant body. Collenchyma gives mechanical support to the plant body. And third one is the sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma cells are tightly packed. In parenchyma and collenchyma, we can observe air spaces. There are intracellular space between the cells of parenchyma and collenchyma. Whereas here, there is no intracellular space. They are compactly arranged. The cells are compactly arranged. Without intracellular spaces. And this sclerenchyma also helps the plant, and they are thick walled and helps the plant as a structural support and mechanical support to the plant body. So this is about the sclerenchyma. Next, the parenchyma cells that contain chloroplasts. The parenchyma that contain chloroplasts is called sclerenchyma. Parenchyma that contain chloroplasts is called sclerenchyma. And the parenchyma that contain air spaces is called parenchyma. The parenchyma that contain air space is called parenchyma. The parenchyma that store food or water or waste is called storage tissue. Food or water or wastes is called storage tissue. Okay, so this is about the parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and the types in parenchyma: sclerenchyma, parenchyma, storage tissue. Next, a famous person called Nehemiah Grew. He studied the internal structure of plants. He studied about internal structure of plants, and he said that every plant body has two parts. One is called medulla, another one is called pithy part. Medullary part, pithy part. Later he called pithy part as parenchyma. Okay, he given the word parenchyma to the pithy part. And he also published a book called Anatomy on Plants. Okay, so this is about the ground tissue. Next tissue, vascular tissue. Vascular tissue, the tissue that helps in transportation, of water and food materials. Transportation of water and food materials is called vascular tissue or conducting tissue. This tissue is also called conducting tissue. And this conducting tissue consists of two types of cells. One is the xylem tissue, another one is the phloem tissue. Xylem, phloem. Xylem helps in the conduction of water and minerals to the plant body. And phloem helps in the distribution of food materials. Phloem helps in the distribution of food materials. Xylem helps in the distribution of water and minerals. Phloem helps in the distribution of food materials. Actually, in plants, water has to go from bottom to top, right? Water has to go from bottom to top. Whereas in phloem, the food has to grow from top to bottom. Why? Because here roots absorb water from bottom, means from soil, and supply to upper parts of the plant body. And leaves, whatever present at the top, they prepared food materials, and those food materials has to bring from top to bottom by phloem tissue. Xylem and phloem are present in leaves, stem and roots also. And there are differences between xylem and phloem. What are the differences is, and depending upon the function and structure, xylem contains xylem tracheids. Xylem contains xylem tracheids and xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem fibers. Okay, these are present. Xylem contains tracheids, vessels, parenchyma, fibers, and phloem contains companion cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, sieve tubes, phloem fibers, phloem parenchyma, So these are the different types of cells that are present in xylem and phloem. Next, and how the transportation is going on in plants. How the transportation is going on in plants through vascular tissue. Generally, if we observe TS of stem of Tridax, under microscope, we can see different types of cells. So whatever the outermost layer is present, this outermost layer is called dermal tissue. Whatever the outermost layer is called, this outermost layer is called dermal tissue. This is the dermal tissue. Next, right, and from dermal tissue to here, whatever the cells are there, this is the meristematic tissue. All these cells are meristematic tissues, meristematic cells, and remaining all tissues are produced from meristematic tissue only. Okay, so this is the meristematic tissue. Next one, vascular tissue. This one is vascular tissue that comprises of xylem and phloem. This is the phloem, and this is the xylem. And the cells or the tissue which is in bulk amount in plant body and contain different types of cells is ground tissue. So this is the ground tissue. Okay, right. So these are the different types of tissues we can able to see in transverse section of stem. Next, how the food materials and water is transporting in plant body. And this is the pithy part, and this is the bark, and this is the bark portion, and this one is the phloem, and this is the xylem part. Okay, so like this, and these are the vascular bundles, so through which the supplying of water and food materials is possible. Okay, next here we will draw the diagram of how the water and food are transporting. Here the water is moving in xylem from bottom to top. Water is moving from bottom to top. Okay, whereas in phloem the food is moving from top to bottom. Okay, right. And in xylem and phloem different types of cells are there in xylem and phloem. For example, this is the trachid. This is the trachid. Okay, which is related to xylem. And in phloem we know already companion cells are present. So this is the companion cells, this one, and these are the sieve tubes, and this is the companion cells. Okay, and here they form structures like this that contain cytoplasm, with outer wall, cytoplasm and outer wall. Okay, this is how transportation occurs in xylem and phloem. And with the help of xylem and phloem, which comes under vascular tissue, the transportation of water and food materials is possible. Okay, so this is about the plant tissues. We will discuss about another topic in the next class.